Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our project on forensics. So if you're not interested in doing the prison project, here is your other option. So first things first, the project is pretty comprehensive and pretty interesting. So if you're interested in knowing more about forensics, it's got your name written all over it. So basically what you get the option to do is pick anything in forensics you're interested in. Could be cadaver farms, could be blood splatters, could be fingerprinting, could be forensic accounting, could be behavioral analysis and psychology and how they interview people, could be a bit more on sort of serial killers, modus operandi, or spree killers. So anything that really has to do with forensic science or forensics in general. So first things first, choose something you're interested in, and then you get to show it any way you want. So I've had students in the past create their own crime scene. Please notify your neighbors and even police if you plan to do it somewhere where it might be noticed by other people. Don't want you to get in any trouble here. So you can create a blood splattered crime scene in your basement if your parents are okay with that, using paint. You could dig up part of your backyard. I knew a student years ago who actually, the family had buried a series of animals in the backyard, and so she actually did an archaeological excavation and found all of their cat bones and stuff like that. You could do a photo essay or a podcast if you're really interested in that. Just make sure it's not a podcast you've submitted for another teacher to avoid plagiarism. You could do a video or an animation. You could take crime scene photos and pretend you're a scientist and create kind of a voiced over video. You could create a documentary, much like Making a Murder or Don't Mess with Cats, which is an online one, or the Ted Bundy tapes. You could create a science fair poster, or really anything that helps you with your career. I'm super open here because I want you to follow your passion. Whatever you want to do in the future, use this project as an opportunity to develop that skill or whatever you're interested in. So there's lots of suggestions up there, but if you have something else, you can. Usually I tell students, decide on what you're interested in. Are you interested in crime scenes, blood splatters, cadaver farms, accounting, forensic entomology, body farms? And then select that topic. Make sure it's something you're curious about that can sustain you for some research. And then select one or two aspects of that you want to investigate and develop maybe 2 or 3 questions associated with that. And the only reason I say 2 or 3 is because if your first one doesn't work out, you can always go on to that next one. Then do your research online, academic journals, Netflix documentaries, books, whatever you can get a hold of that helps you develop more of an understanding of that. Once you've organized your findings, I would recommend that you go and you start to make what you're proud of, right? And share that presentation with me and the world if you're interested, if you create it online. So your assessments on the back page, if you're interested in that, basically what I'm looking for is that you have a really relevant topic, you've got lots of details, and you've done your research. One way to help students really get started is I always tell them, start out by looking at this inquiry sheet right here. So this sheet guides you on what an inquiry looks like. And first of all, it asks you what's your essential question and what's your topic. And then think about why it's meaningful to you. Why do you care about blood splatters? Why are you interested in behavioral analysis of prisoners? Why are you interested in fingerprinting? And then what's your authentic piece? How are you going to share that work? For me, I love to create videos and websites, so I typically would choose that option. And for some students, it might be creating a term paper because you want to go to university and have that preparation. And then read, study, what are you going to look at in order to answer that question? And think about what are your goals? How do you want to grow as a learner? Do you want to develop a note-taking strategy? Do you want to create amazing videos? Do you want to create animations using something like Render Forest? Think about how you're going to take your notes. For me, I do a lot of written notes still using a format that works for me. And then create a plan. And I always tell students, if you create a plan, you're more willing to do it than if you just kind of wait. So I always keep a calendar nearby, and I have a day book where I create plans and intentions for the week to help out. So unfortunately, don't have many student examples for you like I do up in the prison unit. If you look actually up above on the page, you can see all sorts of prison examples, but if you want, you can learn from there. And I'd also recommend you watch this video for some inspiration as you develop your questions and think about how you're going to present. Thanks very much for watching, and I can't wait to see what amazing work you come up with in this meaningful